Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds. So this is where I like to collect together all the stuff that I've purchased over the past week and present it to you guys, give you a little bit of background on it about why I chose to pick it up. Maybe giving you guys some ideas for stuff you can go out and search for as well. I've got 21 things here, 19 CDs, 2 LPs. The past 2 weeks I had been on vacation for the holidays, and of course I hit up a lot of record stores, including one brand new one, but that stuff I'm actually going to be premiering the Let's Go to the Record Store video tomorrow on Thursday. For that, you can check it out. It is Jack's Music Shop in Red Bank, New Jersey. So keep an eye out for that. And then all of that stuff will appear the following week. But I didn't want to give away the surprise on it. That being said, still 21 things here for this week to talk about, and we'll get into that in just a bit. But before we start, if you're new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help. And of course, if you turn on notifications, you're going to stay up to date on really cool episodes just like this with New Music Finds. So kicking things off, believe it or not, we still had something new drop this past week, Friday, December 29th. And it was a brand new album by Head East called Full Circle, featuring 3 new studio recordings and the rest of them re-recordings of songs from... Initially, it was said that it was off of their debut album, but there's stuff on here that's from throughout their career. So the upfront information about this album said that it came from their debut album, Flat as a Pancake, plus 3 new, which would have been fine in and of itself. But in fact, there's actually songs, as I said, from throughout their career, from different releases on here. The more I found out about it, actually, the more I liked about this. So it's 13 tracks. Not really sure why they did 10 and then 3 are listed as bonus tracks. At 13 songs, I think you should just keep it all and not call anything a bonus track. But you get, the hits on here. You also get a song that they had started writing apparently like 40 years ago and never completed. So it's got the original guys plus the new guys completing the song. So everyone's playing together on it. On top of that, you got 3 new written songs. Then you've got a song on here, Raise a Little Hell, that was from an album that they did a number of years ago, but that was a live album, or at least a live version of it. So here you're getting a studio version. So to me, there's a lot of stuff about this to like, even though some of it is re-recorded stuff on here. Head East, though, really great original band, really great current lineup. Roger Boyd, the keyboardist, is the only original member. The rest of the guys in here are newer members of the group, but they do one heck of a job for this album, and I, for one, am really enjoying that. So that was the only new thing. For next week, when you see the stuff that came out for January 5th, right away we're kicking off. We've got some great new releases that are dropping, and we're going to get into it fairly quick there, so that stuff will build back up. But I was surprised. I think I had a new release to talk to you about every single week this year, because even right up through the holiday, they still kept dropping stuff. All right, last week you saw that I had sort of rediscovered, I should say, but Guadal Canal Diary, great group out of Georgia that has very much the same sound as REM. They call it jangle pop. And I randomly picked up an album, their 4th album, from a visit to Princeton Record Exchange called Flip Flop, and just fell in love with it and went back and picked up 2 that I could find. I did try to find their other album, but just wasn't finding one used on eBay or anywhere. But what I did order was this, the debut album, Walking in the Shadow of the Big Man. I had this one on LPs, but I wanted to go ahead and get it now on CD, having enjoyed as much as I am with this band. But the song Trail of Tears, the opening track on here, was always the song that I knew by them, that first listen on that hooked me and pulled me in. But their song Watusi Rodeo was a big, I don't know if it's a big hit on MTV, but it definitely got a lot of MTV play, and that's the song I think most people know them for. But great album, good stuff. And then this one here, 2x4, which I think is their 3rd album, and ordered this one on eBay, so got that one, added that to the collection, and now with my other one. But if you recall, I picked up a live album, and I picked up the Murray Alway, I think is his last name. I can't remember, but lead singer, picked up a solo album from him. So got quite a little cool collection going now on Guadal Canal Diary, and it should just be a matter of time before I find that second album on CD. All right, I made a second trip to Princeton. You guys saw the Let's Go to the Record show that I did. That was one of the first stops I made on my vacation. I hit that place up. But then I got a gift certificate from a good friend of mine for Christmas, and I'd gotten him one, so we both wanted to go, and I decided to make a second trip down there, and it did not disappoint. Got a bunch of cool stuff here. First one up, Dan McCafferty, lead singer from Nazareth, 1975 solo album. Turns out I had it on LP, but entirely different album cover. So I didn't recognize this at all when I picked it up. And either way, it was on CD, and I didn't own any Dan McCafferty on CD. So that was fine by me. I think the whole thing, almost the whole thing, there might be one original on here, Nightingale, the last track, a bonus track, but this is made up of covers, but he does really interesting interpretations. Neil Young's song Cinnamon Girl, he does as like an organ, like on organ, and it's slowed down. It's really cool. We get Boots of Spanish Leather, a Dylan song on here. Out of Time by Rolling Stones is on here, and that's a very cool version. You get Stay With Me on here, Stay With Me Baby on here, but I mean, just lots of cool ones. He also does The Great Pretender, which I only knew the cover that Freddie Mercury did of that song, so it was kind of cool hearing someone else do it. But all in all, I have to say I ended up really enjoying this. It took a little bit to grow on me because I was sort of expecting to hear Nazareth sounding songs, and it's not that, but very good stuff nonetheless. This next one I just kind of bought on a whim, and it turned out to be great. Jack Bruce, Willpower. When I bought it, I thought it was a solo album. Turned out to be a retrospective best of, but very cool at that. Having two new songs on here, Willpower, the first song, and Ships in the Night, both of which feature Eric Clapton guesting on guitar. You've got other Cream material on here, including the song White Room is on here, but then you've got various solo recordings that Jack Bruce has made over the years. So I didn't realize not only would it be solo best of, but it would have Cream material on it as well, which made this really, really good for me. I've been a fan of Jean-Luc Ponty for quite some time. I actually own this on one of those cardboard sleeves, buy 5 in the box for 20 bucks kind of thing. But I decided to go ahead and get it in a jewel case, Enigmatic Ocean. And I would have normally said this isn't a favorite of mine, 1977, but playing it, I really, really enjoyed this. So it has become a new favorite. Maybe I just didn't focus on it because of the album cover, very 70s looking. When I picked up his stuff originally, I tended to focus on the late 70s, early 80s era of his material that had that more space age appearance to it. And a bit of sound as well. And again, I'm still shocked that this guy is referred to as jazz. I just don't hear it in it for me. It just sounds like good prog music that has a lead instrument of a violin as opposed to it being jazz. And I'm not hugely versed in jazz. I'm sure it could be explained as to why this is considered jazz and say not prog rock. But either way, I very, very much enjoy it. This next one, again, listed as jazz, but has a bit more rock influence to it than the other albums by Vital Information. Steve Smith, drummer for Journey, his project, this album called Orion from 1984, reissued on the Wounded Bird label. I've always wanted to get some of it. I'm a huge Journey fan, and again, it was just too jazzy for me. Maybe the other stuff will work now. I don't know. Again, my palette is always growing and changing. And when I didn't like something before, 10 years later, I do like it. And I love that about music. It's constantly evolving in terms of the way I hear things. But I have to say, so this one here, again, I really enjoyed. Definitely hearing the jazz more in that one. But there is enough of the 80s synthesizer sound to it to balance it out, at least from my ears. Picked up this best of by Shooting Star, and initially I didn't recognize it because it got retitled as Touch Me Tonight instead of just the best of Shooting Star. But that was done when Enigma Records picked it up off of a indie label and released it themselves. And when I saw this, I wanted to go ahead and get this, being from Enigma Records and not just a copy that I had owned on it previously. Just all in all, better done, and the artwork and everything for this. But what was cool about it is just that it made me reevaluate it, made me listen to it some more, and it got me into the band a bit more than I have been recently. And on the first visit to Princeton Record Exchange, I picked up a Screaming Tribesmen album. It was a compilation of 2 EPs and a reissue that they did. And I had seen this, and I could swear for the life of me that I owned this album, Bones and Flowers. I think this was 1987 or 88. And I can't find it. So either I got rid of it at some point, or I don't know, it's been misplaced. I do have 12,000 CDs, but now that I've moved and I've gotten them out on shelves and things, some of them are still in boxes. I do have a much easier time locating any of the stuff, and I'm pretty sure either I thought I bought it and never did, or maybe I got rid of it at some point. But I repicked it up, and I was glad because I was able to just go back and snag this one on that second visit. It's one of the reasons I wanted to go back. And the original album had 10 tracks on this one, but this one adds 6 more songs to it. So even if I ever find the original, I've got all the bonus material, making that okay, in my opinion, for replacing. Picked up a Dramarama album, Box Office Bomb. This one from 1987. Dramarama, if you don't know the story, actually started out as a band rehearsing in the basement of Sound Exchange, the record store, the original location to that store. One of the members owned the record store, and that's why they were doing that. I didn't find that out until after becoming friends with Anthony and filming there. And at one point I was reading something on either about the store or about Dramarama, I can't remember, and I read that and I thought, oh wow, that makes the place even cooler in my opinion. I've been a fan of them. I have their album vinyl. I never really explored much beyond that, but because I now know that history and I saw this one, I thought, hey, let me go ahead and give it a shot. And I have to say, I'm really enjoying it. I want to pick up the rest of the catalog now from the group. I'm enjoying it that much. Found this Archive Volume 1 sampler from Genesis. No, it's a promo, so that's why there's no art. It's just the disc. White label promo, they call it, because it's just simply white with nothing else to it. 12 tracks, but it pulled a lot of the rarities from that box set onto one disc. And so I like that. It's kind of like a greatest hits of the box set. $2 if even for it, kind of thing. So it was totally worth picking up. And then found this promo. Selections from the box set of The Doors, 7 tracks on here. Same thing, this one pulls together all of the 7 tracks that are on this are rarities, as opposed to the selections from the box set jewel case edition that got released at the same time as the box set that also mixed in album cuts, and I was a little bummed by that. I wanted just rarities. So this is actually achieving what I had always wanted. And I had recently gotten back into the Outlaws, picking up some stuff you saw last week, and I found 2 more things when I returned to Princeton. So Lady in Waiting, their second album, and I picked up a second greatest hits, their, probably their most current one that's the, more complete than the one that I had previously picked up. So I had those to add into this. All right, made another trip back to Sound Exchange. I made a number of trips to Sound Exchange, picking things up and enjoying it. And so going back, as I said, being in a whole Southern rock kick with the Outlaws and stuff like that, I picked up this 38 Special album, Special Forces, Rock Candy Records edition of this. And I was really surprised. I went to my own catalog of stuff here, 38 Special, and found I actually don't own a lot of 38 Special. I have a number of compilations and later era stuff, and I have the first 2 albums, but outside of Wild Eyed Southern Boys and some of the later era stuff, I don't have that classic era of 38 Special on CD. Now, it has been hard to come by, and I guess every time that I'm ready to go out and get some, when I'm in the mood for it, it's not available, and that's what I'm having happen. So I went out to get some, and all I could find was this one, but I did get that, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm gonna have to keep my eyes open and peeled to get some more of that down the road. And since I picked up that Shooting Star Best Of, I picked up two new best, or not two new best ofs, but two Shooting Star albums, Three Wishes and Burning. So those two albums I picked up from the band while I was at Sound Exchange, and definitely enjoying those. And that really came out of me picking up the best of, listening to it and realizing that there was much more to enjoy about that band than I had previously thought. And they're another one of those ones where I had later day era stuff and not really a lot of the early stuff. And so being able to get that was a really nice thing. And then something that I wasn't expecting was to get into Manfred Mann's Earth Band, and I picked up two things from that group. I got this one here, which is called Chance, and from 1980, definitely more of the new wave sounding, 80s era sounding stuff, as well as this one here back from 72, so 8 years earlier. I got Glorified Magnified is the title of this one. Much more of a proggy sound on this one here than the sort of new wave sound that is this one here. But got to enjoy both of these. And that's all from an album I picked up a best of when I was at Jack's Music Shop, the one that I mentioned to you video is gonna premiere tomorrow for Let's Go to the Record Store. And it just really showed me how much I was, or could, I should say, enjoy this band. And so I actually started picking up some stuff. I got some more stuff on order. So you'll see some more from Manfred Mann's Earth Band appear in next Wednesday's video for New Music Finds. And I still picked up a couple LPs too. This one from Princeton, group Trust, the French metal band that Anthrax kind of made famous with the cover of the song Antisocial. This one here, somebody said this is, I don't know, is it March or Die, Walk or Die, something like that was what this translated into, because it's all in French. But I've always liked them, and I love that connection to Anthrax, so I have a live album. I'm glad to finally get this studio edition of the album. It is produced by Tony Platt, who's worked with a lot of other metal bands. So cool to pick that up and get a hold of that. And then this, the Death Wish 2 soundtrack, which is done by Jimmy Page. My one and only thing I picked up from Factory Records when I went on the Swan Song label. I didn't actually even notice that. But 1982 soundtrack, a lot of people just like the movie, just like the soundtrack for what it is. But I, of course, like it because of the connection with Jimmy Page, just having something a little extra from him, to throw on when I've gone through, because he doesn't really have that much stuff out there himself. And so wanting to be able to get, just that little extra inch of something that I can get, I wanted to pick that up. And he hasn't done that many soundtracks. I think he's done maybe 3, maybe 4 total, all in all. And so there you go. Those are the 21 things I picked up this past week. Again, not counting the stuff that I picked up at Jack's Music Shop, which you'll see that video tomorrow. But as I said, I wanted to hold that stuff out. It's actually 10 more things. So I should have been sitting here talking about 31 things instead of 21. And look, this video's gone on for almost 20 minutes. So probably a good idea to hold that stuff out till next week anyway. So anyways, tune in for the Let's Go to the Record Store video tomorrow. See a new place that I hit up for the very first time. We get to experience it for the first time together. And then you'll see all of that stuff the following week in New Music Finds video. So take care, everyone. Have a good one. Happy New Year. And I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.